The Perfect Sales Storm by Steve Rosenbaum. I will never forget the date, July 19th, 1989. That day, I began my quest to help businesses and people close more sales and make more money, to learn what I learned and to experience what I experienced. It was the beginning of my metamorphosis into the original back-end specialist. I was a newly hired, eager to succeed ball of fire. I was given a territory of my own for the very first time, and I was out to prove myself come hell or high water. So I attacked the account list with great vigor and made a 6-hour trek to call on an 18-location department store in Quincy, Illinois. Peggy, the buyer, was very nice when I called to set the appointment. "You know, it would be nice to meet you, but Quincy's a long way for you," she told me on the phone, "and I'd hate for you to make the trip because your chances of succeeding are almost nil. We're exclusive with the #1 brand, and I don't see that changing anytime soon." Now, what kind of a territory manager would I be, I thought to myself, if I would let a 700-mile round-trip journey keep me from checking an account off my list? Of course I'd make the trip. When I arrived, Peggy was nice as could be and escorted me to her office. After the normal greetings and formalities, I began my pitch demonstrating the luggage. I showed her all the bells and whistles, opened and closed the zippers, spun the wheels, and extended and collapsed the handles. In my mind, I did all this with flawless expertise and perfection. Obviously, I possessed skills and talent that surpassed anything she'd ever seen before. In reality, of course, I did exactly the same things that every other luggage schlepper in the history of the universe ever did. Today, when teaching my students a better way to market and sell, I've developed a technical term to describe what happens when a salesperson engages in this kind of one-sided exhibition. It's called a show-up and throw-up. But let's get back to the story. And then the phone rang. This was before the days of call screening. Ring, 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 ring. "Excuse me, let me see who this is," Peggy apologized. "Of course," I replied sweetly, masking my deep irritation and annoyance. She picked up the phone, and I could hear her side of the conversation. "Oh, I see. Oh, well, that's not good. Ouch, that's really going to be a problem for me. There's nothing you can do? Oh, my goodness. I'm in really big trouble. Okay, well, I really have to go," she said as she returned the handset to the cradle. With that, she turned to me and said, "Well, that was your #1 competitor, the one that I said you would never unseat. They just called to inform me that my shipping container of luggage for the ad in 2 weeks is held up in customs. It's not going to get here in time for the ad. So I need to know right now, what do you have at this price point that we could run in its place?" I excused myself and used the phone in the next office to call my boss, the vice president of sales. He was ecstatic, to say the least. This was a target account that they'd been trying to crack for years. We had suitable inventory, and I closed the deal. She wrote a tremendous order, somewhere near $50,000. That was a very big order for us. My company thought I was a rock star. Like me, they were convinced that I was absolutely the most brilliant salesman in the history of selling luggage. That single sale started my trajectory into sales management. 2 months later, the company moved my family to California and made me the Western Regional Sales Manager. A year and a half later, at 28 years old, another company recruited me away and gave me a vice president of sales position in Savannah, Georgia. And it all began with that one sale. Sales success came easy at first. Later, I discovered that sales didn't always come that easy. Reality set in, and I learned that just showing up didn't always make it happen. I found out that even if I made a perfect, flawless pitch, I didn't always get the sale. I returned to my mind to Quincy and dissected the situation over and over again. What really happened, I asked myself. Well, the phone rang is what happened. Peggy was in need. She turned to the easiest and best solution that she could find, and that just happened to be sitting 18 inches away from her, and she asked, "Can you cure my pain?" And she gave me the opportunity. See, a lot of things came together at the same time that created the perfect sales storm for me. I was in the right place at the right time, and I had the right message. That is, I had the luggage that she needed. And I was in the right market, of course, because she was the luggage buyer. Right place, right time, right message, right market. All 4 of those factors must be present to create a buyer who is ready, willing, and able to buy from you right now. That was the lesson I learned. Now, you might say to me, "You did a great job because you showed up." And that's true. I made the trip. I was there. I made the presentation. I was able to take care of her needs. So yes, I did execute the mechanics. But the point is, you can do all the right things. But if you're not in the right place, at the right time, in the right market, with the right message, you aren't going to get the sale. How many times have you tried to make a sale and someone said to you, "Call me back in 6 months. I'll be ready then." So you diligently mark the date on your calendar and you call back in 6 months. That same person says, "Darn, I wish you called last week, because the other guy called me and I gave him the business. As a salesman and a business owner, I've been there, and I'm sure you've been there too. The Quincy experience was not lost on me. I set out to perfect a system where I could put the odds of bringing all four elements together in my favor. It was the impetus for what I've honed and developed over the course of nearly 25 years. It's the back end of the marketing funnel, the follow-up process that happens after a person meets a business for the very first time. It's also the part of the business that most businesses fail to properly execute, and it results in a great deal of missed opportunity. I've detailed my system in my book, The Back-End Blueprint. I've broken it down into scores of products, systems, and trainings that I've performed for thousands of businesses and marketing agencies all around the world. And I'm teaching scores of second-act business people how they could use the system to help businesses in their area and create a business for themselves. With today's technology, businesses have more power, more speed, more information, and more clout than ever before. Sadly, most don't realize it, but I'm changing that. My primary goal is to help businesses recover $100 million in lost sales. My secondary goal is to train people in need of work, such as corporate cast-offs like myself, military veterans, or mothers returning to workplace. I'm teaching them the skills to help the businesses in their community snatch the low-hanging fruit that many of them miss every single day. I'm pleased to say we're off to an exceptional start. We convert prospects into paying customers, customers into repeat customers, and repeat customers into champions of businesses who will refer that business to their family and friends. It's a great system that leads to higher sales, higher profits, and much happier sales staff and business owners. My name is Steve Rosenbaum. I create the perfect sales storm. I put businesses in front of prospects at the right time, at the right place, with the right message, all in the right market, so that they make more sales.